More than 24 classrooms flooded at this Spring Valley school. How they're cleaning up and what the district is having students do now.
Refugees who fled Afghanistan are among the people who lost everything in Monday's historic flooding.
People in the Southcrest neighborhood gathered in frustration, demanding answers on how Monday's storm damage could have been prevented.
Are electric vehicles more resistant to flooding and water damage than gas-powered cars? We verify.
After crafting millions of pizzas, it's finally time for Mom and Dom to retire with the works.
And the Chargers get a new head coach. CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
An urgent cleanup effort after this week's floodwaters damaged more than 24 classrooms at Bancroft Elementary School in Spring Valley. Good evening, I'm Marcella Lee.
And I'm Jesse Pagan, in for Carlo Cicchetto. As CBS 8's Ariana Cohen tells us, students are now having class somewhere else as crews work to clean up the mess.
Here at Bancroft Elementary School, 32 classrooms flooded from Monday's storm. Now 500 students are in classes at another school nearby.
None of us were expecting how bad it was going to be. Our classrooms were underwater and mud. And even where we're walking, you could not see the cement that we're walking on now.
La Mesa Spring Valley School District's Robert Cochran walked me around Bancroft Elementary School in Spring Valley to show the damages caused by floodwaters.
I had prepared an evacuation plan. We had buses on site ready to take them to another school if the situation had become worse.
These pictures show how the classrooms looked Monday. The school hallways and floors ravaged by floodwaters bear the visible signs of extensive damage and deterioration.
The mud that you see that's caked over there extended all the way to where I'm standing.
Students were sent home early Monday and classes were canceled on Tuesday. Now, hundreds of students are taking class at Spring Valley Academy, just a few miles away, where additional space was available.
You talk about all of the staff, our maintenance and facilities staff that have worked diligently to clean up what are really just catastrophic messes.
Crews are power washing the school's sidewalks, and large dryers and humidifiers are in the classrooms as they continue to clean up.
I'm so encouraged by the fact that everyone has come together to really accomplish what almost seems like an impossible task.
The district says they are unsure of the timeline of when classes will resume here, and they reiterate that student safety is their #1 priority. In Spring Valley, Ariana Cohen, CBS 8.
All right, Ariana, thank you. Families from Mountain View are returning home today after Monday's flooding there. Crews were out loading up furniture and toys earlier this morning to ship off to a recycling center. CBS 8 talked with one person living on 33rd Street who says they're frustrated now with the city.
I called the guy, I think around 5 o'clock this morning. He acted like he didn't know what I was talking about at street division. I said, we need our street clean. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, sir, I used to work for the city. I know you guys do cleanup.
Carr also tells us she asked the city several times about inadequate storm drainage and the lack of maintenance. She wanted to make sure the storm drain was clear, but again, she says no one went out.
Right now, scammers and even legitimate businesses are being warned not to take advantage of consumers following all of the damage caused by Monday's storm. During a state of emergency, it is illegal for a business to increase prices for essential goods or services by more than 10%. This includes hotels and emergency supplies. Violators of the price gouging statute are subject to criminal prosecution.
Some people say they've been asking for months, some even years, for the city to clear it out a congested flood channel, but they say nothing's done.
CBS 8's Esmeralda Perez is live tonight in the Southcrest neighborhood. Esmeralda, what are some of the top concerns you're hearing from people there?
Yeah, well, I spoke to many people here in this neighborhood, and they have just a variety of concerns. They want to know when help is going to become available for them, and when their living situation is going to get better, and, you know, when they're going to be spending the night, where they're going to be spending the night. Now, I want you to take a look at what's behind me. It looks like someone's whole living room is just out in their front yard here. Now, earlier today, about 100 people all gathered here in this street on Beta. Now, they say that this amount of damage could have been prevented.
Every community in the whole San Diego County, in the state, in the nation, So for everybody, federally wise and statewide, city-wise, should maintain their property, the roads and everything, so everybody can have a safe living environment and not just nature.
This is what Beta Street looks like today after Monday's storm flooded this neighborhood. Today, a crowd of them gathered, all with damaged homes, all saying this could have been prevented.
My house, just take a look. My house is ruined. It's completely destroyed.
Greg Montoya filed a lawsuit in 2019 along with his neighbors when their homes got flooded.
People could have died. The city of San Diego, they are so neglectful. You know, thank God nobody died.
They reached a settlement with the city of San Diego. Now, with Monday's heavy downpours, his home is one of many that became flooded again. At the moment, Greg is looking for an attorney to file a lawsuit.
Because I believe I can win because of the documentation that I have.
CBS 8 reached out to the mayor's office for comment but have not heard back. Greg says he reached out to the city several times to get the storm channel near his home fixed.
If they would have followed up with all the emails that I sent them about cleaning the storm drains, cleaning the channel, if they would have followed up with that, like I asked them to do, that we wouldn't be in this situation.
I spoke to attorney Evan Walker. He represented Greg and other people affected in the suits filed in 2019. He was in the neighborhood today to check out the damage and answer questions. He recommends those affected to do several things.
Absolutely make the insurance claim, document the damage, and secondly, if you think that the city is responsible for what happened, understand that you could file a government tort claim. It just has to be filed within a certain period of time.
For people like Mayra Gomez, her flood insurance won't cover Monday's storm damage in her home.
Water has to be coming in through the roof, so a leak, flooding through a leak, or it has to be like a broken pipe where there's flooding. Any groundwater doesn't cover.
As neighbors on Beta Street cleaned up, people handed out coffee, bread, and flowers. Claudia Moreno is one of those volunteers. She wasn't affected by the storm, but felt she had to do something to help.
I can only imagine what these people went through.
District 8 Councilmember Vivian Moreno represents this area. She spoke with people to see what resources they need.
Big dumpsters, manpower, people to come out and help clean up, and also boxes.
Now, I do want to provide an update that just before going on air, I did get a chance to speak to the city of San Diego's Deputy Chief Operating Officer, Chris McFadden, who oversees the stormwater transportation and public utilities. Now, he does acknowledge that this is a community impact. Now, he also told me that even the systems that are engineered to today's standards are going to flood. Now, the city says this area is a floodplain and that no amount of preparation could have spared this amount of damage. Now, we'll have more details on the rest of his response on the online version of this story at cbs8.com. Jesse.
Now, Esmeralda, of course, we got quite a bit of rain, especially for what we see here in San Diego normally. But what other issues are people facing out there now because of all that?
Now, some residents that I spoke to just briefly before, going on air, they did tell me that they got their gas service cut off early this morning. They received this notice on their front door, and they just don't know when it's going to come back. And, they needed, some of the people that I spoke to say they've been sleeping in their cars, and they just don't have a place to live because, their home is just not safe to do so.
A lot of people in need in that neighborhood. Hopefully moves are being made to get that happening there. Esmeralda Perez live for us tonight. Esmeralda, thank you. Meantime, community leaders are raising awareness about a proposed landfill in the Tijuana River watershed. Today, County Chairwoman Nora Vargas joined officials from Imperial Beach, national, city, and local organizations at the County Administration Building. They worry this proposed development in East Otay Mesa could make the Tijuana River sewage crisis worse.
We will be continuing our coverage of Monday's devastating flood damage throughout our newscast. And we do want to remind you, you can always share your photos and videos with us right through our CBS 8 app. Just go to the bottom right and click on Near Me. Then click Share with Us. Share your name and where the photo or video was taken, and then you may see it right here on CBS 8.
The Chargers have a new head coach tonight.
He is also a former Charger with some other local ties. Marcus Greaves joins us now with some more on wonderful coach Jim Harbaugh coming to SoCal.
Yeah, it's what'd you guys think? Especially, what did you think, Marcella?
You know, being a
Coming from Michigan,
alum,
I know it's kind of tough.
It's sad because he's so beloved at the University of Michigan. But, you know, we knew that he was interviewing last year and that it would be time. So he finished his business at Michigan, and maybe he can help the Chargers.
And as long as you're happy, you know, as long as you're happy that he's done. Yeah, this was a move that definitely we kind of assumed was going to be made. And after finishing the season 5-12 and firing their head coach mid-season, the Los Angeles Chargers have found their new head coach, and it was not a quick process as the Chargers conducted an NFL-high 15 interviews before choosing their guy. Former head coach, Michigan head coach, I should say, Jim Harbaugh has agreed on a 5-year deal to become the next head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. Harbaugh played for the Chargers back in the 99 and 2000 season. He worked his way up the coaching ladder, being the head coach for the USD Toreros, the Stanford Cardinal, and then making his way to the NFL to be the San Francisco 49ers head coach, where he spent 4 seasons. And in his first season with San Francisco, he was named the NFL Coach of the Year. And by 2014, he took the Niners to the Super Bowl, where he ultimately lost to his brother John Harbaugh. But he did finish with a 44-19 record as an NFL head coach. He does have talent on this team, like franchise quarterback Justin Herbert. But the question will be, can he get the most out of his players, or at least meet the expectations of this franchise, I should say. It was a very great hire, in my opinion. He knows how to win at a high level, build a culture, and more importantly, he knows how to get those fan bases to get more supportive. And Marcella and Jesse, that's definitely right now what the Chargers need. Very important.
Chargers have needed some help there. Thanks so much, Marcus. We are glad to welcome him back to SoCal. Still ahead, a woman is rescued from a rain-swollen creek in California where she was trapped for 15 long hours.
Plus, can electric cars handle water and flooding better than gas-powered cars? We verify.
Cloud cover going strong for today. We're going to see that for tomorrow as well. Also talking about cool temperatures. Then we warm up by the weekend. And Santa Ana winds are also going to be a thing for that. We'll take a look at your complete forecast coming up.
And up next, a crime scene in the Inland Empire after a tragic discovery in the desert there.